thought I'd just get out a quick reaction video to the announcement that we had today from the Nintendo Direct for Splatoon 3. There isn't a lot there that's at all relevant to PvP. So this is going to be fairly quick. It's going to be unscripted. This is just the day that it released, but it'll be releasing tomorrow. So today, time travel is happening. That's what's going on. So anyway, there were a few things that I thought I could shed some light on. I think that it wasn't entirely clear exactly, you know, the nature of what's being offered, and there's some details that might be confusing to some people. So I thought I could answer some of that. And also, you know, I just have a few comments on the things that are happening and where the game seems to be going. So, first of all, there is going to be an expansion pass. That expansion pass is paid DLC. This is not the same thing as one of the seasons. This is not like the Chill Season update that added weapons and kits and stuff and maps. It is going to be purely, like, kind of cosmetic or single-player oriented. So there are 3 pieces of content, one of which is a pre-order bonus. That pre-order bonus, I have now bought it. So I can tell you that that pre-order bonus is 123,000 coins, plus 3 experience up tickets, plus a ticket for each of the farmable gear abilities. So that's, you know, a decent bonus for farming gear and stuff. It's by no means, you know, a make-or-break aspect of the deal, but they're throwing something in to try and get people to pre-order it, so there it is. You can decide whether that's worth it to you based on that. The full DLC is $25. Obviously, you know, if you're watching from someplace else, it may be a different price based on your local region, but that should at least get you in the ballpark of what you should expect it to be if you put it into a conversion. And the other 2 pieces of content are Wave 1 and Wave 2. Wave 1, it said, was scheduled for May 31st of this year, and Wave 2, it said, was scheduled for December 31st of next year, of 2014. So that's a pretty good ways out yet. Surprising that they are giving an announcement of it this early on. I guess they're probably going to release some more trailers with some more information about it later, but trying to get the hype started now. But it's definitely going to be a while before either of these really are actually added to the game. But Wave 1 is a cosmetic, not exactly upgrade, because it doesn't change anything that's here. It's more an addition. So the square, you know, the area you can walk around in the hub area here, you can go on this escalator, which takes you on a train to Inkopolis, and have all of the same features you have access to here. You know, all of the doors you can walk into, you can talk to merch, you can go to the shops, and they'll sell all the same things, no new gear or anything, but there will be some new shopkeepers, and they'll have Table Turf and Salmon Run, even though those weren't in Splatoon 1. So you can basically treat Inkopolis like it's this square, and just be there instead of here. The one thing that I think might be interesting about that for the average PvP player is that if there's another training room, you might have a different orientation of dummies and maybe more moving targets to shoot at or something. And that might actually be really useful for mechanics practice, depending on what it is that they give us. But otherwise, you know, as a content creator, I look at that and I'm like, oh, cool, I've got more places to stage stuff. There might be new music tracks added because the Squid School, or not the Squid School, the Squid Sisters are going to be performing during Splatfests there, and so there's probably going to be some new music added to the game for that. So there'll be, you know, some new features for me to play around with for videos, but in terms of being able to play the game in PvP or whatever, it's not going to be a huge difference. What's more interesting to me is Wave 2, which is the side order single-player campaign. So we've only gotten, you know, a teaser trailer, but what we've seen in it is that, first of all, side order, that seems to suggest that this relates in some way to the way things would have been if Team Order had won the Splatfest at the end of Splatoon 2 instead of Team Chaos, that being something that determined the design philosophy of Splatsville. So it may be that maybe some devs have some content that was, you know, half-cooked, ready to go in case Team Order won, and they wanted to find somewhere else to plug it in, so they're plugging it in here. You know, it's just good game design, and if we get more content out of it, then I'm all for it. We see Agent 8, it would appear, the female Octoling who is the protagonist of Octo Expansion, dressed all in white in an all-white version of the Splatoon 2 lobby. Everything has been whitewashed, all the walls, all of the brand logos are gone. They're these, like, crystalline tree-looking things. It's kind of surreal. And there are also a bunch of freeze frames that we see for just a few frames of few abstract images, plus there's one of Pearl and one of Marina. So this does seem to be picking up either where Octo Expansion left off, or maybe it's an origin story to Octo Expansion. But we don't know too much more about it, except that so far it's seemed very introspective and reflective. There's only the one character there by themselves, and everything abstract makes it seem like maybe this is metaphorical, metaphysical, maybe this is all in that character's mind. Lots of different questions there about what we might be looking at. I'm really curious as an English teacher to see where that part of the game goes, because Octo Expansion was really brave in terms of the content that it covered compared to what Nintendo will usually put in a video game. Like, that is pretty explicitly about, like, race relations. Pearl is a privileged white person, and Marina is black. And that does play into their relationship and the way that they relate to their music. It's also, you know, the Octolings versus the Inklings. There is coding there. The Octolings are at odds with the Inklings at first and then start reintegrating into Inkling society, and the Inklings are confused. You know, you can see from the announcement at the after you beat Octo Expansion that there are all these weird Inklings with new hairstyles and stuff. I wonder where that's coming from, you know? So there's all of that going on, and the fact that the main character, the Octoling, is down in the subway system, going through this weird, seemingly endless maze to execute arbitrary tasks for the people in power who may not have their best interests at heart, who are callous toward them. One of whom, you know, the final boss, ends up actually being, you know, pretty megalomaniacal, potentially with maybe a sort of, like, eugenics or genocidal angle to it. Like, it gets really dark at the end of that expansion. So the fact that they're willing to tackle all of that subject matter in a Nintendo game sets a pretty interesting precedent for what, you know, they could potentially do here. But I'm also, you know, aware that there are different teams that are working on the different games. Like, we had a different map design crew, for example, for Splatoon 3. So maybe we get entirely new writers who want to go in a completely different direction with the source material, or maybe they just steer away from that angle altogether. Hard to say what exactly they're going to do, but that part is probably the most interesting part of this announcement for me personally. I'm obviously buying the whole thing. I've already bought it because I'm a content creator, but if it weren't for that, I feel like I would probably consider skipping Wave 1 and only buying Wave 2. That's where I'm at on that stuff. Hopefully that's explained some things for you if you were a little confused by the announcement, or maybe just piqued your interest about what it might be offering and what you have to look forward to.